Hello humans, and welcome back to the Towelway. In today's video we're going to get into an exercise called the back lever. We're going to go through some progressions from beginner to more advanced and some different ways that we can train this skill in our program themselves. This is not a follow along routine. You can take pieces and put it into your training and use my advice from this video. First, I'm going to introduce 5 different progressions you can use for the back lever. We're going to start with the beginner and go to the advanced. So first we're going to start with the beginner tuck. Now we're going to use an isometric here, which simply means holding the position. We want to have full scapular protraction, and we want to keep the hip and the shoulder about in the same line with each other. And for this progression we want to tuck the knees to the chest and tuck the heels to the butt. You will also notice that I'm pulling into the back lever in different ways, and this is to show you different ideas of how to pull in if you are not strong enough. Now our second progression is going to be the advanced tuck. So this is where I would keep my back relatively straight, and I want the knees to be directly under the hips. I want to maintain that scapular protraction, and I want to maintain the hips and the shoulders in line with each other. Now the third progression we're going to use is called a piked straddle. So we're going to straddle our legs as wide as possible, but we're going to allow the hips to pike, and I don't want the hips piked any less than 90 degrees. So 90 degrees or more of pike for this progression. Our fourth progression is the straddle back lever with no pike. So we want to maintain a line from the shoulder to the ankle, and we want to make sure that we keep scapular protraction, the glutes squeezed, and the shoulders pressed hard into the ground. And the final progression is the full back lever. So we are in a straight body position. Some helpful cues are squeezing the ankles together, squeezing the glutes, and pushing the shoulders down towards the ground. That'll help with that scapular protraction. For all of these exercises, we want to maintain a protracted and depressed scapula. We do not want to allow it to elevate, and we definitely do not want it to allow it to retract, as you're seeing here. Protracted and depressed. We also want to make sure our elbow extensors are contracted. So I want to contract that area, but also keeping the elbow straight. Now, while static holds are great, there are a lot of different options that we can do to train this. So this is called pull from horizontal. So we're going to start in the inverted hang, go down to the back lever position, and then pull back to the inverted hang. We want to make sure that we maintain the same progression we used for the back lever on the negative and the concentric. Both the eccentric and the concentric should be the same progression. Start with the beginner tucked and work your way through the progressions as you can. Another option that you can use is called a half skin the cat. So from the inverted hang, we're going to come down to the German hang position through the back lever and then press back up. Again, start with the easiest progression and then work your way through. On the full progression, if you use this progression, we want to have some heel drive. So that may cause the knees to bend a little bit. This is fine as long as it's not extensive. For the hand position of beginners, I recommended a pronated grip that you see here, but one of the ways that you can progress is supinated the grip, as you see here, which puts more pressure on the bicep tendon. So in this exercise here, you'll see I supinate the rings instead of pronating them, which puts more pressure on that bicep tendon and elbow. Now this can be too much when you're first starting out, so start pronated. Okay, if you have any questions, please let me know, and that is the session. I also want to thank all of my Patreon supporters. They help to keep this channel growing. If you'd like to become a Patreon member, you can go into the link of this video and click the link to my Patreon. As a Patreon member, you have chances to ask me questions, access to exclusive posts and tutorials, and more. So please consider becoming a Patreon member, and thank you to my supporters.